Good evening all, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm just going to be doing a very simple, quick video, nothing too long. I haven't posted anything for a while. I've not been doing any jobs, any projects on at the moment, so I've not been posting anything, but I have got a few coming up soon, so hopefully I'll get some more content on the channel. But today all I'm going to be doing is quite simply, I wasn't even going to bother recording it, to be honest, but I thought I might as well, just to put something on there. Here we have a trials bike wheel. It's off a Beta 2012 Beta 250, an Evo. It's the rear tyre, of course, and all I'm going to be doing is taking the tyre off and simply flipping it around and putting it back together again, because the rotation is wrong, which I noticed. I've only had it a few months, I don't know how long it's been like this for, but yeah, I noticed it was the wrong way around. Of course, this sprocket side, this is the right hand side of the bike, left hand side of the bike. And where is it now with the rotation? Didn't even know these were rotational, to be quite honest, but there he is, there's the rotation of the tyre. Of course, when the bike's sitting up like that, the arrow is pointing up at the moment. While the bike moves forward, the arrow is heading downwards, so the rotation is, of course, wrong. So I'm just going to flip it over. I don't really know what effect that would have on the bike. Now, again, I didn't know these were rotational. I'm sure someone will educate me on that, but no, I'm not too sure what effect that will have on it being the wrong way around, or what these do. I mean, I know they're particular high performance tyres in the sense of grippiness. It was a trials bike, but I don't really know. It's not worn down too much, possibly something to do with the grip, something to do with the wear. I don't know, but anyway, I can't live with it knowing it's the wrong way around, so I'm going to flip it around anyway. Oh, here we go. So yeah, all I'm going to do is just quickly take it off, flip it over and put it back together, just a little video of how to do that. I've done a couple of these before. I know usually you would take it to the shop, or someone can do it for you, pay it, have the machines, get it done in 10 minutes, but if not, you can do it at home. It is quite easy. Well, I say it's easy, it can be quite difficult, but I find it relatively easy sometimes. On this one, I have, at the moment, I've broke the bead already on the tyre. If you push it down, as you can see, it is broken. The reason I've done it is because it's a bit of a faff without the hydraulic bead breaker, or even a manual one, not necessarily hydraulic, but it can be quite tricky. Now, I'll talk you through what I've done to actually do that. All I've used is a couple of tyre levers. I've got a pallet truck here, which just makes it easy because there's not contact on the floor there. Stuck them in just on the side, just next to each other, push it down as far as I can, levered it over, and then just use a good size 11 boot and pushed it down. Of course, stood on both sides at the same time, and it popped the bead off. A lot easier with a hydraulic bead breaker, of course, or just a normal leverage, normal, I don't know what they're called, to be honest, but for the piece of kit it is, it's quite expensive and you don't really need it, so I did it this way. So what I'm going to do now is try and take the tyre off. I don't know how hard it's going to be on this one, but it's a pretty chunky tyre, so we'll see. But I'll have a crack and I'll get back. Okay. So that's one side done. Bit of a faff, to be fair, it was quite tight. So of course went in. You know these tyre levers, if you've got the hook, I want to go sort of under it to bring it round, to bring the tyre over, hooking it as best you can. If you go in, I would suggest using something just in between the rim and the tyre itself, because you can quite badly scrape the rim itself. Of course, if you're using metal ones, that is, I mean, if you're using the strong plastic ones, you won't run the risk of doing that. But yeah, it came off all right. Bit of a faff, but no, it's off. Once you get sort of the first movement, I would do. So I came in, first one about that far apart from each other. You get a good chunk of tyre then coming off, and then you can sort of slowly pick it round each time. When you get a good amount like that, then it just all pops off, and then as you see, it's all come off now. So the next step is of course getting the other side out, which could prove a bit more difficult, but we'll see. So yeah, that was pretty straightforward. But they're trying to look on the condition, because this tyre does go down ever so slightly. I mean, you only run them with about 6 psi, I believe, on the rear tyre. But I'll come back to it after even just a day, and there's no air in it at all. No, actually, I thought that this had an inner tube in it, only to learn that it's a tubeless one. I don't know if all trials bikes are like that, not too sure still, I'm still learning about all this. But no, it's a tubeless tyre, so I'm going to give it a good clean up and see if there is a hole somewhere in it. If I can get it repaired, I'll sort it out, and hopefully we'll go from there. Yeah. But yeah, I'll get back to you and we'll have a look, see once the tyre's off, see where we're at with it. So I'm just going to quickly cut back to this halfway through it. So now I've got this side off here. I'm going to push this over now to the right hand side, and that's how I'm going to get this one off. Now, it's considerably easier. I've just simply put one side in and just levered it over, and it's all coming off. Now, I am going to have two hands. Unfortunately, I'm using a phone, so I'm going to try and get a better setup when it comes to doing the cameras, so I can sort of head cam, use both ones, but I haven't got the equipment just yet, so I'm going to look into that a bit further. But these are just basic videos, so yeah, apologies for the stopping and starting and the small back brief, but yeah, as you can see, it is coming very easily. A bit of dirt in here, let's have a look. Yeah, gonna give it a good clean, maybe a new valve. Clean on the inside, check for any damages, and we'll go from there. I don't know with these tyres, I don't know, what would you say with the tread on these? I'm actually trying to put this particular one, I've had it a few months. I'm going to be putting it on the road, just road register it, not to just use it constantly on the road as a daily, but more so for avoiding trouble from police and stuff like that. If you take it off into sort of public car parks and just random areas, that's what I'm thinking of doing. At least then, if they come and say, "Oh, you're not supposed to have that bike on here," I'll be like, "Oh, well, actually, it's road legal, so I can." At least you've got sort of a leg to stand on in that sense. But yeah, first time doing that too. So this trials bike, I'm going to sort of update some different jobs, because it is a sort of an ongoing project. I've done a few bits and bobs to it already, but now we'll do some more. Right, so yeah, I'll cut away. I'll get that off and I'll come back and see where we're at with it. 3 seconds later, we're back. That was I simply just pulled it out with my hand. I didn't even use the tyre lever. That just came out very easily. So that was actually quite straightforward. Again, yeah, 100% would be easier if you had the right tools, if you had the press, if you had the proper tyre removal, tyre mover, whatever it's called. But no, this is just, I have done that with those two little tyre levers, a size 11 boot, and an old bit of chamois rag, and that's it. And it's off. So I'm going to check it inside, give it a good clean up. If it is obvious signs of damage, I'll just replace the tyre anyway, but if I can repair it, I will, and then I'll get it back on. But yeah, looking at the rim, you can see I've made a couple of scratches. This is why really, you want to be using sort of plastic ones, hard plastic, might make it easier. I mean, this rim is not exactly in the best condition anyway. It's been on the bike from new. I'm assuming there's a couple of scrapes, dents, dinks, whatever. But in general, it is in pretty good nick. There's no major damage. That's all. A couple of sharp spots there. I can go and find a wire brush, because I'm actually at work, so I'm not even in my garage here at the moment. I have recently changed the wheel bearings on this. I should have done a video on that really, because that's probably more worthwhile than taking a tyre off, but oh well. That was a pretty simple step. No special tools required really. Again, these two spacers here on either side came off, pop them out, and then you can just about see, oh you can in fact use this, you can see the bearing just underneath it there. Now these are, I think they're 6004 RS, I think, if I remember rightly, 6004s. But yeah, once they came out, I got a socket. I can't remember what size it was, but inside it does sort of taper slightly. So what I did is get a socket on an extension, very carefully, very carefully tap it through, because the bearing came out the other side, and then obviously opposite side that bearing came out as well. Inside there is like a tube, I don't know what we would call it, I'm not too sure, like a spacer, a tube, but it is very soft metal. When I put it back in, I very gently, in fact you can probably see it, just on the inside of there, it is ever so slightly damaged. I hit it so softly just to try and get it back in, and it all dinked it all up. Luckily I could repair it, but you have to be cautious with the insert in this wheel, because it is very delicate, and the very slightest hit can damage it. You can buy them, they are pretty relatively cheap. You buy them on any wherever really, manufacturer websites, wherever, any trials bike websites, you can probably buy them. But just as a heads up on that one, if you're doing your own wheel bearings. But no, it spins lovely. It was all over the place, wibbling, wobbling, terrible, didn't even notice it. But yeah, so I'll clean that up, have a look in there, see what we're rolling with, and yeah, I'll cut away. I might not carry this video on any further, depending on the condition of these two. If they're all right, I'll put it all back together again. If not, I'll just sort of cut it short here and get back to you in a minute, and we'll see. But we'll have a quick look. Right, hello. So I've given it a good old wire brush on the inside of the rim there, cleaned it up good and nice and smooth. I checked inside the tyre. Now there's absolutely nothing that would suggest it's damaged, nothing poking through. Checked on the outside as best I can. It must be, again I'm not too sure, if someone knows better, please let me know. But if these tyres are running on what, 6 psi, it's just sort of seeping out the sidewall, seeping out the bead, perhaps because it's so low pressure, I don't know. But I'll leave it and it will go flat completely. So, but the tyre, it's in pretty good nick. So to be honest, I'm just going to put it back. I've cleaned up the rim on the inside here just to hopefully it seals it maybe a little bit. Maybe it's a bit dinked up, so perhaps it's just not sitting correctly or good enough to create a perfect seal. But oh well, I can deal with it, it's manageable. I can get a good day's ride out of it, and I'll just pump it back up again anyway, so no, we're good. But yeah, I'm gonna put it back on. So this time I need to make sure that I get well, not me necessarily, I didn't do it the first time, but I found it that way. So where's the rotation of this one now? Oh, I've lost it again. Where is he? Here somewhere. Let's have a look. There he is, right, yeah. So that's the rotation. So let's have a look. That's the right hand side of the bike. Tyres on that way. Rotation's pointing that way. Should be rolling forward. Boom. That's the rotation. Happy days. So put that down. Put him in there. That's the way. Oh, that's the way we want to be rolling. So I'll get it all set up. Get the first part of the rim in, and then we'll cut back to it. Okay, so that's the first half in. Working quite nicely actually. Not too bad. I double check the rotation because just in case it magically flipped around, but yeah, it's fine, it's good. Rotation is correct. Well, where's the rotation? There he is. I keep losing it. Rotation is correct. So yeah, just this side in. Fill it up with some air, pop the bees back, and yeah, we're all good. So yeah, just a quick show on how I'm going to do this once it's in. Okay, so getting these in, you have nice little hooks on them. It's a case of hooking around the rim and doing it. There's a gap about that big, and then it's a case of shuffling around and putting it in all the way around as you get to the top it's going to get more difficult, but yeah, just a bit more leverage will come in handy, and that's it really. So yeah, we'll cut away and I'll get that done then. So just in the middle of putting it on, as you can see I'm in a bit of a precarious position here. Found a good old chunk out of the tyre there. No, I don't know if that's all the way through. Unlikely, because it would be flat in seconds, but yeah, I might have to get these replaced anyway. For off-road use only. Damn it. Oh, it says in the USA and Canada. Is that for the USA and then Canada only? This is a UK thing, so I don't know. Again, don't correct me. Not too sure. Anyway, so where I'm at now, I put the 2 levers in. There was one on that side, but he's down there. He is in there, so I'm going to sort of edge it round. I've had to put my knees on either side just to keep the tyre in. It is very helpful and it does work. We've got that little bit of weight on the side and just start punching it in then. We'll see if we can do it with one just at the top here. Oh, that's going to be a bit tricky, I think, with just one. It'll just go over, pops in. As long as he stays in on that side and doesn't come out, I'm going to have to use 2 hands. So yeah, there's only a little bit left. Get it in, hopefully that'll pop in. And there we have it. Pretty straightforward. Use my knees. As it was getting over, it was quite far over the rim. It just needed to be pushed down a little bit and pushed up here towards the rim just to give it that extra clearance. And then all it took was a hand, pushed down and it popped in. And that's it. So all I need to do now is put some air in it, get them beads seated correctly, and then of course drop the air pressure to about 6 psi. But yeah, that's good. So the rotation is changed. I'm likely going to change the tyre because as I keep going round it, I'm finding more and more damages to it. It is probably a very old tyre. But no, that's it. So I'm going to get some air in, and then that's it. So just a couple of points. If anyone does know, when it comes to rotation of these tyres, obviously the tyre has a specific rotation. What's the reason that has a specific rotation? If anybody knows, I can see how it's worn. Obviously, it's coming this way. He's been doing that way previously, so it's worn there. So possibly you get a bit more grip. It looks like once upon a time it was facing that way, but obviously someone's turned it around and it's worn that down. Unless they've done it on purpose, I don't know, to get a bit of extra life out of it. I'm not too sure, but plenty of life left in it, I guess. I don't know. All learning curve for me, these trials bike business. First trials bike and I've only had it for a few months, so maybe one day I'll be an expert. Unlikely. Anyway, thank you for watching. Wasn't the best of educational videos, but it's just a quick show how you would do it with a couple of very basic tools. And it is possible, absolutely possible. A bit more fiddly, took probably 3-4 times longer than it would if you did have the correct tools. But no, it's something that you shouldn't shy away from if you're thinking, oh, I need to change my tyre, but I can't do it. Because you can, it is doable. But yeah, thanks for watching.